After losing to Panama 1-0 in the CONCACAF Nations League semifinals, the US men's national team decided to lose to Canada 2-1 in the losers game, finishing in 4th place in the 2025 CONCACAF Nations League, CONCACAF, one of the worst regions in the world, an embarrassing week, campaign, tournament, and camp. Something that the founding fathers most certainly would not have been proud of. With that said, what did we learn? Hello. If you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV. And today we're going to go through 7 things that we learned from Canada 2, United States 1. This is the 7 things we learned series that you should know by now. Every day following a U.S. men's national team match, we tell you 7 things that we learned. Now, there's many more than 7 lessons, or maybe there isn't, but you can let me know in the comment section. What did you learn? And as Thomas Jefferson said back in 1821, if you hate someone, give them a U.S. men's national team ticket. Yes, he said that like 200 years ago. All right, now make sure to drop a like in this video if you haven't already. Let's try to hit at least 1,000 likes. Now let's roll the intro and start the episode. Okay, lesson number 1. And why don't we start with a positive lesson? Because everything else in this video is going to be negative. So let's start with a positive one. And that is Diego Luna. And listen, I'm not going to overhype the player and say he's a locked-in starter for the U.S. men's national team. I actually wouldn't even call him a roster lock. But his performance this game has earned him a Gold Cup call-up, in my opinion, this summer. The assist was beautiful, the composure in the box to find Aguiman to score. The first touch, he had a nice through ball to Weah. He put in the fight that you want to see from U.S. men's national team players. He actually tried. He actually hustled. He tracked back, defended, attacked, tried to make things happen. In a game where it seemed like almost every single American player didn't really feel like playing. So props to Diego Luna for actually putting a decent performance. Lesson number 2 is the culture of this team needs to change as soon as possible, because the easiest way to put it is that it's shit. Because you see, tactics, player selections, roster, whatever, none of that matters if the attitude and culture within this team does not change. It's a loser's culture. It's a very entitled group of players, and Pochettino has to find a way to fix that. It doesn't seem like these guys care. And I've talked about this so many times. If you watched like a previous generation of the U.S. men's national team, you don't have to go that far. Let's go to 2014. They cared, and you could see it. They may not have been the most talented players, but they freaking cared when they put on the USMNT jersey. These players, they say they care, but their actions don't show us that. And actions speak louder than words. So changing the culture of this team has to be done as soon as possible. It should be priority number 1. It should have actually already been done. But again, this problem has been exposed once again. And hopefully Pochettino stops being lazy. And I'm sorry for calling him lazy, but it kind of looks like he's been lazy lately. Get it done. Change the culture. What we saw this camp was a disgrace. I truly don't get it. I'm baffled to see that these players play with such lack of grit, passion, and desire for their country. Lesson number 3 is all center forwards in this camp simply ain't it. And understand what I'm about to say. I'm not saying to banish all 3 center forwards, even though maybe you can banish Brian White. But Aguiman scored a goal. It was not a good finish, right? He kicked it right at the goalkeeper. And sure, a goal is a goal. And a shit performance is a shit performance. And he had a shit performance. He was not good. Sargent was not good against Panama. Didn't even get a shot against Canada. I'm not saying banish any of them. And if we have another injury crisis with Haji, Balogun, and Pepe not being available, sure, probably Sargent will get another chance if that happens. He might be there this summer. But at this point, if none of them make it to the roster again, I wouldn't really be surprised and I wouldn't really be disappointed. And I like Sargent. I watched Norwich and I think he's really good for Norwich. But it's been long enough where he has underperformed for the national team. And then people are going to say, well, he wasn't, I mean, like Aguiman was bad, but so was Sargent. And Aguiman scored and Sargent didn't. right? And that kind of matters, regardless of the goal being a bad finish or not. My overall point is I still believe in Sargent at the club level. For the national team, I'm kind of starting to lose hope. Now, Aguiman, I just don't think he's a great player. He shouldn't be in the national team. And the same goes for Brian White, even though we saw him for, 10, 15 minutes. But it was 10, 15 minutes this game. We have seen him play before in MLS and even in Camp Cupcake. He shouldn't be there. Now, before we continue, a quick word from the sponsor of this video, Sorare. You can go to the restroom if you want to right now. But once you leave the restroom, make sure to wash your hands. Always wash your hands, all right? We'll be back in 60 seconds, and also drop a like after you wash your hands. Do you collect sports cards? Do you play fantasy sports? Yes, no, maybe? If you said yes to any of that, I got something for you. And if you said no, you might still want to stick around. Tactical Manager TV is partnering up with Sorare with a special offer. The link will be in the description. In Sorare, you can collect your own virtual cards of your favorite players. And then you may be asking, why would I want to collect virtual cards? Well, you can line them up on 5-a-side games every single week. And if your players perform in real life, you can win actual money, signed jerseys, game tickets, or even more cards to improve your own club. And you can also get unique experiences like a friend of the channel, Fiago, that got to meet Zinedine Zidane. You know what's also cool? They also have the NBA and Major League Baseball. I'm mainly gonna just stick to soccer, but you do you. What I really like about Sorare before we even partnered with them is that they're unlike other fantasy games where you have to pay per play. In Sorare, you pay to get the players you want permanently as cards. And then you can play multiple times using those same cards, at least until the player retires, win rewards if your players perform in real life. You can also buy undervalued player cards for cheap, then hold, use them in the future when they improve or develop, and then you can even sell that card when its value goes up for better ones. Or just keep the money yourself. And if you use the link in the description of this video, you will get $50 in credit after buying your first 5 cards through auctions or instant buy at any prices. Play with responsibility. All right, enjoy. Lesson number 4. We are back, and hopefully you did wash your hands or not. It doesn't really matter. I never wash my hands. So lesson number 4 is that we learned once again, well, actually we didn't learn it this time. We've seen this before, is Jesse Marsch, he does a lot of that, the acting that we see on the sidelines. I think he is passionate, but he does a lot of it for the cameras. And understand, the play that he was freaking out that he got a red card was the right call by the ref. The ref that y'all love very much. You guys love the ref way too much, some of you. Almost as much as Spicy Jeff loves me. But listen, he does it for the cameras. He was behaving like an overgrown toddler for no reason. The players weren't complaining. Jonathan David wasn't complaining about the play. And then you have Jesse Marsch doing his thing for the cameras. That's why he does all those podcasts. That's why he's behaving the way he is. You guys can continue to give him all the attention in the world. I still don't think he's a great coach. Congratulations to Canada. But, I just wanted to talk about that because I thought his behavior was kind of embarrassing for a dude his age. Okay, now lesson number 5. After the, culture and mentality issues addressed and fixed, this team actually, or this generation, has to create or develop an identity, an actual style of play. And you see, they're trying to be this possession-oriented, high-pressing team. They tried that with Berhalter, and honestly, Pochettino's kind of trying the same. I don't think that's our level. Maybe this team should go back to the way we used to play. Defend. Don't need a bunker against Panama in these teams, but play a different setup where you strike the opponent in transition. Maybe try that. We need to develop a different identity. Clearly, this team is not good enough to play possession-oriented soccer, disorganize the opponent with the ball, and simply high press and dominate the opponent. We can do that to Martinique, small Caribbean islands, or maybe Jamaica. But clearly, when we face an opponent that is even a little bit close to us, not even as good, worse, we struggle. Maybe we need a different identity. In the past, we very much knew what we were going to get with the U.S. men's national team. Even though we lacked the talent, we never lacked the grit, the heart, and had a true identity of a way to play, right? We knew exactly what we were going to get. With this team, we don't really have that. Right? And clearly what they're trying to do, and Berhalter tried that, and Pochettino seems to be trying it to a certain extent, I don't think it's working. And when we play against better teams, I don't think it'll work. So hopefully Pochettino rethinks that the next 2 months and we see a different team in the Gold Cup. But it is making me concerned, and I'm a bit bothered about it. No, seriously, let me ask you this question. What is the identity and style of play of this team? Like, can you actually envision it or something, or do we play it in an effective way? Have you thought about that? And sure, we can give Pochettino time, but I mean, he's had enough time to make some changes, and I'm just not really seeing it that much. We're definitely better, or we were before this camp, than the Berhalter era. This camp was probably even worse. But again, he's being a bit too slow. The World Cup is coming up. The clock is ticking. Which brings us to lesson number 6, which is things can change, and I hope things do change, but we are slowly sleepwalking towards a disaster of a 2026 World Cup. I don't have to expand upon that. You know exactly what I mean by it. Unless things change, it's going to be a really bad 2026 World Cup. I don't think we're going to get grouped like the Copa America, but we would probably lose in the first knockout round if we keep playing the way we're playing. Last but not least, we have lesson number 7. And unfortunately, I ran out of lessons. I ran out of bad things to say about this team without sounding like a broken record. I am tired. I am annoyed. I am stressed. I am constipated. If you have another lesson, let me know in the comment section down below. We'll make another video on Thursday recapping the camp and all of that with Adam, USMNT Stan. And that's all, guys. On Tuesday on the Chappelle Football, the Brazil channel that we have in English, we're going to do a live watch along for Brazil and Argentina. Hopefully Brazil doesn't let me down as well, even though they've been pretty good at letting me down lately as well. And that's all for today. Drop a like before you go. Let's try to hit 1,000 likes. I want to thank you all very much for watching. Thank you for the support, because it's kind of been sucking lately to cover the U.S. men's national team. And I know for you guys, it's been sucking to watch. So thank you for the support. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it here at Tactical Manager TV. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.